我跟你讲 Joe Biden is on the fast track to becoming the worst U.S. president in American history. And if things keep going the way they are, he just might spend his last days on Earth in prison.
I've done some dumb things, and I'll do dumb things again.
Because just a few days ago, he became the first president in American history to pardon his own son. But behind this pardon lies a very deep and dark secret. This rabbit hole goes so deep it touches the other side of the globe. And of course, legacy media ain't saying a single thing about it. But I totally understand why, because the truth could land Joe Biden in a prison cell for a very long time. So, get ready to play detective because this is 精彩as fuck. 让我们继续看下去。Okay, so to fully understand this story, let me give you a very condensed version of exactly what Hunter Biden did wrong. So in 2018, remember that number, Hunter Biden falsified information when registering to purchase a revolver. And between 2016 and 2018, he also managed to somehow forget to pay $1.4 million in taxes. And just 6 months ago, a jury of his peers convicted him of the following. Number 1, making false statements to a federally licensed firearm dealer. Number 2, falsely declaring on the application form that he was not a drug user. Word. Number 3, illegally possessing a firearm for exactly 11 days. Number 4, submitting false personal tax returns. And number 5, submitting false corporate tax returns for his company. And as a result of this conviction, my man was facing up to 25 years in a jail cell. But good old Joe Biden is an upstanding moral president. He believes in abiding by the rule of law. And when it came to his son, he made his intentions very, very clear.
Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law. Not even the President of the United States. I'm not going to do anything. I said I abide by the jury decision. I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
Will you accept the jury's outcome, their verdict, no matter what it is?
Yes.
And have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes.
So for months, Biden had been telling everyone who would listen that he would respect the rule of law and not bail out his son and give him a pardon. And even his DEI-appointed cheerleader backed him up.
His son, Hunter, is also up for being sentenced next month. Does the president have any intention of pardoning him?
We've been asked that question multiple times. Our answer stands, which is no.
President Biden says that he's not going to pardon his son, Hunter. Is he going to ask Donald Trump to do that?
I don't have anything else to share about that. I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole on this. I've been very clear. The president's been very clear when we've been asked this question.
First briefing since Hunter was indicted again in Los Angeles. Why doesn't President Biden just pardon him?
I've been very clear. The president's not going to pardon him.
So as you can see, Biden's press secretary is working overtime to assure the American people over and over again that Joe Biden is a beacon of morality. And under no certain conditions would he ever pardon his own son. Then, just a few days ago, this nigga pardoned his own son. But wait, there's actually good reason for it.
I wanted to ask you, could those statements now be seen as lies from the American people? Is there really a credibility issue here given now this announcement?
First of all, one of the things that the president always believes is to be truthful to the American people. That is something that he always truly believes. He came to this decision this weekend, so let's be very clear about that. He says it himself.
How soon could the next round of pardons could come?
I don't have a timeline for you. As you know, this usually happens towards the end, and so the president is going through that process. I'm not going to get ahead of him, but you can expect more announcements to come. They targeted him because his last name was Biden.
Just like Kamehameha Harris, she serves up a giant bowl of word salad, answering not a single question, and for the first time in the entire Wookiee history, she does something completely unheard of. She makes the white man the victim. Yo, y'all fools need to upgrade your shit, yo.
No, you're right.
What's even more hilarious is how quickly the left-wing media tried to cover for this fool.
I respect it as a parent. I understand why he would do it, but I wonder to understand why lie about it for so long.
I'd stop calling it a lie.
Huh? You can't call it a lie? The U.S. president on camera on multiple occasions across several months said that he would not pardon his son. And then he did. If that isn't a lie, then what is it? A Hunter Biden Christmas surprise?
What does that say?
Well, here's what it says. It's a precedent for all of us to open our eyes because we've elected someone who is in a similar situation, who didn't have a drug problem, who knew what he was doing, who clearly stood and said, I can do this. And he did it. So I think for many, many reasons. This is very different than any other situation that we have ever dealt.
This has got to be the most pathetic cope of a defense I've ever seen. The US president promised the American people that he would not pardon his own son, and then he broke that promise. And somehow Whoopi Goldberg here is trying to Jedi mind trick the public into not calling it a lie.
Oh no, 他不是骗人啊，这个算是一个 special circumstance.
Give me a break. That's a bunch of malarkey.
But she was not alone, because soon after, Taiwan's favorite media source, CNN, was immediately on the scene to lay cover for Biden's cover layers.
To be honest, the only reason why they went after Hunter the way they did, and I've talked to many federal prosecutors about this, is because he's the president's son.
People have to remember the president has lost 2 children already, and he does not need to lose another one to more political witch hunts.
The, crowing from Republicans, but we're talking about, Donald Trump is a convicted felon who literally had pardoned his daughter's father-in-law and just made him ambassador to France.
Woke fuckery 101. Victimize yourself, then absolve yourself of all responsibility for the action, and last but not least, blame somebody else for the problem. And in almost all cases, it is an old white man. And in this case, as oftentimes before, it's Trump. Fun fact, both Bill Clinton and Trump also pardoned their own relatives. But there's one key difference. Both of the people they pardoned had already served their prison sentences. And in Biden's case, Hunter wasn't even sentenced.
Why do I think he pardoned him? 2 reasons. Number one, I'm a father, you're a father. I think your previous guest had it correct. A father's love for his son, Hunter Biden, who suffered from addiction and had to suffer 4 years of a vindictive witch hunt where they couldn't find anything on his laptop.
哦，是哦，他原来是很 suffer 的。Poverty, not being able to afford basic needs for your family, and even having your family ripped from you in a war-torn country are what most people would consider suffering. But making millions of dollars a year and then snorting hundreds of dollars and grams of cocaine off a hooker's titties is not exactly what I would call suffering. That's just straight up depravity. Actually, it sounds kind of fun.
Lot of fun.
And you need to remember, Hunter Biden's laptop has officially been confirmed as genuine by the FBI. So using false-ass statements and trying to portray an overprivileged coke addict as a victim is the most disgusting rhetoric I have ever seen.
Very rarely investigated, very rarely indicted, but they got him on that and tax evasion charges. He tried to pay back the taxes. They still got him. He realized, due to Trump's vindictiveness, because Trump is now president and Kash Patel most likely will be his FBI director, Kash Patel promised just 3 weeks ago he will go after Trump's enemies, including the media. You should be worried, Pierce, and also political rivals. Joe Biden, as an 82-year-old man, said, okay, I want to spare my son the trouble because Trump is so vindictive and cruel, and Kash Patel's the head of the FBI. Let me pardon him. Political pardons have been done by Republicans and by Democrats. Did Biden lie? He did. Did he go back on his word? He did. Should he be criticized that? He should be criticized for that, but this is why he did it. And if I may say this, for my panelists and for all your MAGA viewers, this is me playing the world's smallest violin for their fake hypocritical outrage. And to quote Melania Trump, I really don't care that they're pissed off. Do you?
Rough translation, Biden couldn't care less about any public criticism. He just wants to protect his son from the threat of Donald Trump's revenge. And the American people?
Fuck them.
So now you see just how shameless the left-wing media has been on this issue, defending it with absolutely zero bottom line. But why? Why are these fools so desperate to flip this thing around and turn it on Trump? Well, for better or for worse, I dove head first into the rabbit hole of shit and found some very important details. Surprise, surprise, it turns out this whole pardon thing isn't as simple as they're making it out to be, which is why I made you wait to the end of this chapter to really and truly say, 代志大条. So this chapter is the result of 6 long hours of swimming through shit to connect all the dots. And for legal reasons, even though I have a lot of receipts, I must say that this is all speculational, not 100% fact. So with that being said,
hold on to your butts.
So let's have a look at Joe Biden's pardon in full. To all to whom these presents shall come, greeting. Be it known that this day I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., President of the United States, pursuant to my powers under Article 2, Section 2, Clause 1 of the Constitution, have granted unto Robert Hunter Biden a full and unconditional pardon for those offenses against the United States which he has committed or may have committed or taken part in during the period from January 1st, 2014 through December 1st, 2024, including but not limited to all offenses charged or prosecuted, including any that have resulted in convictions by Special Counsel David C. Weiss in docket number 123CR0061MN in the United States District Court for the District of Delaware and docket number 223CR00599MCS1 in the United States District Court for the Central District of California. Hey, everyone, how? Can you spot anything strange? Think about it for about 5 seconds. What is odd here?
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Well, if you haven't guessed it by now, there are two things. Firstly, remember, Hunter Biden's crimes were committed between 2016 and 2018. So why in the hell would his own father pardon him from January 2014 to December 2024? Secondly, that time frame is like 10 years and 11 months? 差一滴滴就11年呢. So an 11-year pardon covers what? Obama's presidency, Trump's presidency, and most of Biden's presidency. And remember, this is for all crimes he committed or may have committed or taken part in. For all of that, this nigga gets a free pass.
Bullshit.
Now, normally, presidents pardon people for specific crimes committed during a specific period of time. This is the first time in modern American history that a president has pardoned his own son for everything he did or may have did during an 11-year period. I mean, Clinton pardoned his half-brother for a drug charge that was committed 7 years before he even became president. And Trump pardoned his son-in-law's father for crimes committed 13 years before he even became president. And both of those family members had served their time. But up until now, no U.S. president in American history has ever pardoned their own family member for crimes they committed during their own presidency. Holy
iceberg. We can expect a crime wave.
So let's stick on the pardon time period for a second. Why in the world would you pardon someone for a crime 2 to 4 years before they even committed the crime in question? Well, before I tell you, I must make it very clear that I have zero tendencies of self-deletion. I love my family, I'm in good health, and I always drive slowly and carefully. Well, that last part may not be entirely true.
Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it.
Ukraine. That's right, the exact same Ukraine who President Joe Biden has sent over $175 billion in U.S. taxpayer aid to. In April 2014, an American Hunter Biden became the board member of the second largest gas company in the Ukraine.
In the list that you gave me of the reasons why you're on that board, you did not list the fact that you were the son of the vice president.
Yeah, no.
What role do you think that played?
I think that it is impossible for me to be on any of the boards that I just mentioned without saying that I'm the son of the Vice President of the United States.
So why exactly did Burisma hire Hunter Biden? One word: access.
Oh yeah.
Duh, they wanted access to the U.S. Vice President, yo.
Biden and his son are stone cold crooked.
The president has been on the rampage, accusing 49-year-old Biden of improperly profiting on business interests in Ukraine while his father was the Obama administration's point person in that country, all leading to that now infamous phone call in July.
It's a very honorable call. It's a nice call.
When President Trump asked Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to investigate the Bidens. No evidence of wrongdoing has been found against either one.
Now, under Ukraine's previous government, the very Putin-friendly Viktor Yanukovych just so happened to appoint the founder of Burisma as his Minister of Natural Resources. Soon after, Viktor was investigated for tax evasion and money laundering. And the Putin-friendly Ukrainian president at the time was overthrown in February 2014, just 2 months before Hunter Biden was hired by Burisma.
Some fuckery's going on.
So now, just after the president was overthrown, Biden's influence has infiltrated the second largest gas company in Ukraine. Although U.S. government officials having business interests in foreign countries isn't exactly illegal, it ain't exactly a good look either. And according to federal law, they must publicly disclose any of those connections before taking office, because failure to do so would result in an extended stay in a federal penitentiary.
I want to get to the heart of it. Did you and your father ever discuss Ukraine?
No. As I said, the only time was after a news account, and it wasn't a discussion in any way. There's no but to this. No, we never did.
Under the Ukrainian government's investigation, yes, the exact same Ukrainian government that Biden gave $175 billion to, unsurprisingly, they found no direct evidence linking Joe Biden to Burisma until the U.S. government launched their own investigation to the matter. And on this very day, just 1 year ago, they released their findings in a special report published by the House Committee. Link down in the pinned comment below. Let's have a look, shall we? Joe Biden used multiple email addresses and private email addresses to communicate with Hunter Biden's business associates. This evidence contradicts previous statements made by President Biden claiming he had no knowledge of his son's business dealings. New evidence includes data on 327 emails showing correspondence between Joe Biden and Eric Sherwin, a key business associate of Hunter Biden. 54 of those emails were exclusively between Joe Biden and Sherwin, who managed the family's shell companies. 38 emails were sent from the White House to one of Biden's aliases, with copies sent to Hunter Biden. And 27 of those 38 emails were exchanged just before Joe Biden took a trip to the Ukraine in June 2014, just 2 months after his son got hired by Burisma. That's right, just like Hillary Clinton, the emails exposed everything. And they were not only sent from the White House by Joe Biden, but his own son was CC'd in on it. Oh, and the prosecutor hired to investigate this whole thing with Burisma and Joe Biden in the Ukraine? Yeah, Joe Biden threatened to withhold $1 billion in aid if they didn't fire his ass. And guess what happened? they fired his ass.
You're a bad man. You're a very bad man.
So let's summarize, shall we? The pro-Putin president was thrown out on his ass in February 2014. 2 months later, Hunter Biden is hired as a board of directors for the second largest gas company in the country, and there's concrete evidence showing that both Bidens had influence throughout that company. Then, when Ukrainian prosecutors went sniffing around, Joe Biden demands he be fired, threatening to withhold $1 billion in aid, or else, and this guy is swiftly given the boot. And once Biden became president, he proceeded to send $175 billion in taxpayer aid to the Ukraine. Fast forward to November of this year, Trump gets reelected and vows revenge on his political enemies, and Joe, who promised the American people on multiple occasions that he would respect the rule of law and not pardon his son, pardons his son. Not just for crimes he committed, but crimes he may have committed against the United States government. For ne. So I ask you, do you really think all Hunter Biden did was forget to file his taxes and hold an illegal gun? So when Trump takes office again, if investigations reveal that Joe Biden along with his son benefited in any way from their connection to Burisma and the Ukrainian government, it could mean that Joe Biden routed US taxpayer money back to himself indirectly through foreign companies under the guise of foreign aid. And that shit would be the biggest scandal in US history. Now I have a conspiracy prediction. When Trump gets back in the White House, he will start to digging, turning the whole Slava-Ukraine movement upside down into an international corruption scandal, causing Vladimir Zelensky to resign and Joe Biden to enter cell block 1, where he will most likely die in prison. Ukraine will be forced to accept a ceasefire on Russia's terms, and the entire Ukrainian war become just another dirty stain on the US history, just like Vietnam, Afghanistan, and Iraq. All because Sleepy Joe wanted a more expensive, more comfortable bed.
Now I know.
And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe!
Now this is all a figment of my imagination. I have no proof other than what I showed you to back it up. It's all speculation, yo.
It's true.
But real talk, this is all playing out better than the entire 5 seasons of House of Cards. But let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below. Remember to like, subscribe, and I will see you on the flip side. Peace!